Hello there, this has been Fournier, a benevolent cytoquorum, and I'm going to discuss Enneagram and a potential other uh, system for listing behavior types. But first off, logical fallacies, the genetic fallacy and the etymological fallacy are two that I think really play a role in a ton of churchian Karenism, is what I would consider it as. Going about the supposed origins of things, or what a few fringe members say about something as meaning the thing as a whole. That would also be like the fallacy of composition. But like saying Christmas is Saturnalia and all that sort of stuff, and Pascha isn't, Easter is from Estar and all that sort of crap. Rather than God looks at the heart, and all those other things are superficial. So, yeah, I get tired of hearing that kind of stuff. Here we have, basics, what the number meanings are: the reformer, the helper, the achiever, the individualist. That's obvious. FI. 5 usually goes with either INTJs or INTPs, so TI hero or NI hero. I don't really see as much ISTPs than NFJs as number 5, so at least I hadn't noticed that on any listings before, but it would either go with accuracy or precision, which this is the difference between accuracy and precision here. It's how close to truth you are is for accuracy. Precision, you can get a grouping, it's like having a ton of numbers after the decimal point, but it doesn't mean that you're accurate. Accurate and precise is both having a close grouping and being on target kind of thing. So yeah, 5 would have to be something along those lines. I think it goes more with NI than TI though. That is my guess. And loyalist things, that's going to be more SI, especially with having any fears. Like, could just be paranoia in general, but there's other definitions here for things too. Either way, it's a useful way to list things as being like, INTJ, 5-wing for SPSX, and you have the instinctual variance for self-preservation, social, sensual, that sort of stuff, which they can probably relate to some things like socials, obviously FE to some degree, and the helper, that's going to be FE to some degree too. This I think is more SE. The reformer is going to be ENTJ, I think. NIN. That peacemaker, I don't know. Maybe ENFJ. Something like that. But a lot of ENFPs are type 7 starting with, and either 8 or 6, and that's how they do it. It's right the adjacent ones rather than any of them at the same time. So I think instead a better system would be just having an ordering of like what functions you've developed more, or what behavior wise, what you use more often or what you've developed more. But or you could split development and behavior in two different things, because just because you use something a ton doesn't mean it's functional well. Like, you can use a jalopy, a vehicle that's broken down quite a bit, and it's still pretty bad. But based on circumstances, you might be circumstantially coerced into using certain functions more than others. Like, if you're growing up in a situation that requires being sycophantic and fake smiling all the time, you're going to develop FE, even if you hate FE, and such of that sort. And you might not be that good at it, but you'll still have to use it. So, you could still have like FE as 1 or 0 maybe, but it's still like required of you, and that kind of nonsense. But there's all that sort of stuff. All those definitions that I think relate more to cognitive functions than they actually do. They have 9 though, rather than 8. That's why I think there's at least a couple of them that might be types rather than just one function by itself. But where you draw the line depends on your definitions and all that fun game of stuff. Yeah, if anyone hasn't tried keys to cognition, this would be a thing you could do. And yeah, it says not secure. You're not typing in a credit card or something though. But yeah, try doing that and you get a result that looks like this. So yeah, there's the link that's impossible to find on the stupid search engines nowadays. And I can't list it on the descriptions even though I've had my account on YouTube since 2007 and I'm verified and all that crap, but they still won't let me put links on the description. So you can copy it down if you really like to. http://www, etc. See that? Pause, freeze frame, transcribe. But yeah, you could go just list like that. Where'd I put it? And just make a list along those lines as to what it says is most based on their quiz thing. And I'd say put a developmental cofactor of your own guess as to how you think they're developed rather than just going with this thing. Because it's easier to judge yourself or say a character you're writing, how highly developed something might be and how versus how much they use it and how much it's developed, kind of thing. Something along those lines. That could be under behavior or nurture. Well, there's the least stress mode. It's going to be their first function down to their last function. Least stress to most stress to use, kind of deal. But yeah, something along this line you could make. And for everyone that thinks everything's evil, you can just ignore using Enneagram. Because, you know, if you're dealing with everyone who's like, Christmas is evil and all that sort of... What is this? I don't know. I should have hit Control Y. What is that anyway? Honest ads if casinos for honest. Okay, yeah. Yeah, which, of course, they aren't. The game was rigged from the start. But, yeah. Anyway, here we go. It's, you know, instead of Enneagram. Yeah, that's interesting. And no Control Y. But yeah, forget the Enneagram stuff if it's gonna bother anyone that's like, everything is evil. You know, Pokemon are demons because Mon means monsters and monsters are demons and Pogs are of the devil and everything's of the devil and Christmas is of the devil and everything is devil, all that sort of stuff. It's like, oh, give me a break. So fine, instead of Enneagram, just use the cognitive functions in the order that they seem to be used, with high, medium, low, or whatever spectra that works better for how you're writing if you can actually see a difference, you know, in so many shades of gray between high, medium, low, or, you know, if you have 10,000 to negative 10,000 or some other thing. But yeah, high, medium, low probably would work just fine. You could spell it out if you feel like. But, you know, of course for anyone that doesn't know this stuff, they'll just be like, what is this? And they'll probably think it's cult stuff too. Like, the Enneagram does look silly having an actual, like, graph thing. And that's off-putting to sensor types and others that just see everything as looking like, you know, pentagrams or anything too. So, it's best to, you know, for things that have what in etymology there's amelioration and pejoration. One is sweetening and one is worsening, basically. Like miel is like honey and that to be made like honey, and pejoration is, I don't know what that means exactly. But let's see here. Here we go for the etymological fallacy again. Not really. Knowing what the etymology is isn't the same as the etymological fallacy, but it just means to make worse. So yeah, for when something has a bad connotation, like someone saying this is of the devil, everything's of the devil. It's like, give me a break. But if they're gonna be playing that stupid game, then they can win the stupid prize of having a different system that's conveying the same information without the baggage that they claim matters so much. And you can have the information conveyed in another stance that, like this. Sorry, it's dark and I'm hitting the wrong button. But yeah, if everyone's gonna be so stuck up and claiming everything's demonic, everything is evil when it's not, or any association with the absurd or with evil they can make, you can just say stress is, or nature is INTJ ST, and I think the T, turbulent or limbic, those are the same things, and they relate to how prone to stress modes you are. Like for INTJs, the Nephi loop, it's a real joy, and it makes us seem like FE hero types. So yeah, this is what the Nephi loop is, and every type has a first third loop, and you have others that are like, oh, you can have a loop between any two functions, but of course this is going to be the first loop and the most probable one, the first third loop, because you prefer introverted functions to begin with, and it's the closest one there. And yeah, so but yes, you can have loops between any of your other functions too, but the ones that are the least stressful to use are the ones that are going to be more probable to be used, and then more probable to be developed over time. So that's how that likely works anyway. Anyhow, yeah, and that's, you can look up the Psychology Junkie INTJ Nephi loop, and it's the same kind of reasoning you could apply for any of the other types, first, third, and it's going to be skipping the second function, and the way to break it is to try deliberately focusing on the second function, that sort of thing. But yes, and of course, this test is crap too. You can go to like what is it, INTJ INFP Coffee or whatever the Calypso person changed it to after Alex left, or I don't know if they went back or not. Casual cognition, they went in and said this is bad. Yeah, the questions are kind of weird, but yeah, they should make both this and the Sloan thing and everything else needs to develop questions that aren't leading or stupid, so it's to not detract people from answering correctly. But yeah, you can do this and get like a rough estimate of what you might be, and yeah, get some idea of what things are like. And here, if these processes don't fit well, consider ENTJ or INFP, and I probably seem more like an INFP. Whoop-de-doo. Especially with how bad I am at micro. Maybe I am an INFP, but yeah, I don't get along with the NTJs though, and I think Kersey's probably correct, so it would be more likely INTJ. ENFPs are easier to get along with anyway. Well, they're easier to get along with everyone though. But yeah, who knows. Either way, this is just, instead of the Enneagram, which has the etymological fallacy, genetic fallacy, baggage of connotations that are easy for the everything is pagan, everything is of the devil to latch onto, you can have a listing of functions that are used and how developed they seem to be, and use that either for, if you think it works in real life, have that listed, because this is the nature of least stress to most stress, and then this is the usage versus development type thing. So something along those lines, and you could make characters with that and try to keep that in mind. Maybe you can have character arcs where they develop their functions a little bit more on some ways, or think about how they've grown up and what circumstances that they've been in that coerce them to use and develop functions that are more stressful or least stressful for them. Like if they're like what's his name? Not Bennett, Darcy. And he would be an INTJ-A or calm, or assertive or calm, but developing very little of his lower functions because he's lived a peaceful life, compared to someone living in poverty where every day is hell and you have to focus on lower functions to get their stuff done, or just to survive. Not everyone's handed a silver spoon in life and can be comfortable in their least stressful functions for most of it. But anyhow, here's an idea as to how to replace Enneagram with something that doesn't have baggage that others can latch on to and mindlessly dismiss. Just an idea. Well, anyhow, take care everyone and try not to go crazy.